I don't anticipate the whole world listening, because oftentimes when people see symbols on thumbnails or whatever, if their life is not triggered to go deeper into knowledge, they won't see it. The collective unconscious speaks through symbolism. They may say, oh, I'm not interested in it, I'm not seeing that. They're not where they're supposed to be. I just want you to know. So be ready for that as we continue. I'll look at some of the chats in a minute if some of you are chatting, but I can see the ones coming across the screen. Appreciate it. So let's jump into our shucks. I was getting ready to do a cuss word, but I caught myself. All right. So again, we're talking about the Ouroboros. Now, the first thing that we do know when we get to this is that they talk about what most people talk about is the snake. I would say number one. Let me put my little thing here and make sure. We'll say number one that we're talking about the tail eater. A lot of people see that symbol and they think about the tail eater, and we can do that. So TK, if you can look outside, the air conditions should be cold off. Just push the number and then see what number is on. If it is, put it in the 69 or something, because I know y'all may be freezing, but I'm under all these lights. All right, so appreciate it. All right, so we're talking about the tail eater, okay? And it has a lot of meanings. And again, Ouroboros is what that is. Aura means tail, and then Boros meaning devouring. This is our ancient knowledge when it comes down to the meaning. So the serpent swallowing its own tail, at some cases, is destruction, recreation, or collapse. And this again has a meaning in your life. So you want to pay close attention to where we're going with this today, because you are going to have experienced what we're going to be talking about. But now that you're going to know. Now, this same serpent that I'm talking about shows up in Egypt, Greece, Norse, Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica, everywhere. And the reason why is, again, is we have been invaded years ago by some type of serpent race. And therefore, when they first came, they were the bringers of knowledge. This is why we have the tree of knowledge and the serpent taught someone to eating that, okay? So just keep that in mind as we talk. Now, when you start thinking about it, this has been carried out over 3,000 years, by the way. We're talking 3,000 years of knowledge when it comes down to the Ouroboros. And so let me take you there, and so we can do that. So the second part of this will be unity. This is real important, especially if you're going to enter relationships. If you can adapt the principle of the Ouroboros, you may have a better relationship, because this thing don't allow bullshit in and it don't allow the bullshit out. You can keep stuff within yourself if you can adapt this principle in your love life, because this keeps your friends, and not your intimate friends, the ones who will send you home as your good friends, the ones who keep your ass out there, well, you don't need them in there. And a lot of people cannot hold water. And personally, like I told my daughter, I have daughters who date men, right? And the one thing about that is the fact that, let me put this here. Hang on. Hey, Jen, I'm on live, so can I call you after the show? All right, cool. All right, so the whole part about this is we're talking unity. And so when I taught my children a long time ago, I was like, listen, if you're involved with your man, and y'all may go through some stuff, but don't call daddy. Keep it in that circle, because you might tell me one thing and get back with him. I ain't going to like him forever. You get what I'm saying? But when you're ready to end it, you call daddy, because I'm coming in destructive. All right. So keep it in as long as you can. And of course, if he's doing whatever, you go through it. You got your bug out bags. You need to go somewhere for a week. You got it. You got the training. You got the bug out bag. You got the cash in the bag. You know how to disappear. Don't call me until it's over. Then I'm coming in to do what daddy does. And so this is everybody needs to live this principle. Don't go telling all your family everything you're going through, because you may get through it, work through it, but they're going to always remember, because they need to be on the outside in the first place. Okay. So unity, this is a circle of what we call an unbroken line. Okay. It's an unbroken line. And also when you start thinking about it, it's the sign of one. That's why I'm saying this. This is the sign of 1, because if you think about it, circle equals 1, right? Or it can equals 1 if you want to do it that way. But this 1 equals unity. And that's important when you're in a relationship. You become 1. All right. And so that's an ancient symbol that they use for that. Now, this symbol has numerous meanings you're going to find out that we're going to go through today. But that's one in particular that you need to go through. The next one, which is what most people know, is as above. We're going to go with that. And you can repeat it out to me because you know this. Most people know this surface level statement. That's all that they know, being honest with you. And they're not really thinking about the shadow of life, their shadow of this whole meaning, as above, so below. I'll give you this same law runs through the atom, the galaxy. It's universal law. As above, so below is universal law. All right. And it's worth people understanding that when you go through this. And we're talking, this law comes out of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even have my notes here. It comes out of the Hermetic Emerald tablets. So if you go into that, you will find the meaning as above, so below, but you want to tie it to the Ouroboros, okay? And it has another. And this is the cycle that most people live in every single day. The universe runs across eternity. Okay, it really does. So when you start thinking about this, you'll kind of know. And when you think about it, you ever heard the term fractal, the fractal universe? Okay, the Ouroboros is fractal, and I'll get into that in just a second. But the whole point is you have to look at life is in a circle. It's also and sometimes we have repeated patterns that we have to conquer, right? When we're going through things in life, and it's very important why. And this is why when you file it under the occult knowledge, and it's very careful with that when they use this kind of stuff, it means hidden, not evil. Some people think the Ouroboros is evil, but it is not evil, people. It just means hidden. So let me go with that and scratch out. Boy, my writing is a doctor. My teacher told me a long time ago, everybody with bad handwriting is going to be a doctor. They lied. They were just making me feel good. So the whole point of that is what I'm telling you. Now, let me know if you're gathering anything for this, because I got a lot more to go. So I just want to know. All right. So before I go any further, I have Devin and TK in here. What do y'all think when you hear the term as above, so below, Devin? I'll start with you.
As above is the heavens, or higher vibration, or the light beings, and below is a lower vibration.
Okay.
Subpar.
Right.
Yin yang, good, bad.
Right.
You know, things of that nature.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. What about you, TK?
The way I view it is more or less as it says, is that the unity of 1, basically meaning that what you have up here is going to cater to what's at the bottom. So look at it as the tree and the leaves and the root at the bottom. Okay. So above is below. Gotcha.
So we're talking when we see the symbol potential, the tree of life, you have this is the ground, and then you got roots. Is what a little bit. Am I close enough?
And which is all one. So you got everything.
Everything is still connected,
right?
Though. It all is connected. One. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is, and the aspect of that is true on both sides of the fence. And now, once again, you want to keep going through what we're doing. So let me take you to the next one, which I call number 4, which is really important, because number 4 is the meaning of day and night. And if you think about ancient terms before the moon got here, our whoever built this system, source, God, the sun was not just what people thought. It was early rise. Every morning when the sun came up, it was the rebirth, the born. It was safe. It was all of that, because the night at one point was the most deadliest thing to a human, because it was complete dark. And a lot happened in the dark. And so, of course, they bring in this moon. So that's a whole nother story. But you got to think about daytime awakens you, expressions and all of these things. I even have a friend who just spent hundreds of dollars to have a morning the way they want it to have, because they have this daytime clock thing, right? So, but it's out of the physical. But when you get to nighttime, though, you would draw inward. You're in the dream state. You're in the into the mind, I should say. And you got to think about it. You need them both. You have to get into the night version of yourself every night. Now, the most scary parts is when people say, I don't remember my dreams. You know, that's something there. You know, I don't remember the dream. And that's a balancing thing that needs to be happening. Because if you're not remembering your dreams or dreaming, there are some people who say, I haven't dreamed in months. Then they Ouroboros is off in their lives, because they're awake during the day. But the time that your body, everything rehabilitates at night, the mind regenerates, the whole thing comes in. And then you also get in contact. If you're not dreaming, you're not in contact with your unconscious self, the collective unconscious. You're not tapped into the rest of us. You're on an island. And there's a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into today that why you're not tapped in. And so, first of all, is being in a safe place to even get some sleep. You might be in your house, but it ain't safe. Your spirit body knows. And you could be with somebody you think you love and you ain't safe. Imagine can't get some sleep with somebody who's supposed to be protecting you, you know. And so people don't go deep into those thoughts to understand that. But anyway, the sun rising, when you start thinking about this, it's the Ouroboros, and I should say, it's a 24-hour clock. So let me just put it right there. So your life is 24 hours, not 8 hours in a day. But somehow these companies and everybody else know how to steal 8 hours of our life. And so we will continue down this. And speaking of life, that's the next part of this. So am I on 5? Y'all keeping up? Or no?
5.
So I'm on number 5. And that's life and death. That's probably, and I got a few more to go. I mean, I can do 10 more of these, and I will. Life and death is, how can I put it? Death for me back in the day, and I remember my grandmother who died at 106. I would go visit her, and she was afraid to go to sleep. Out of 106 years, she did not want to go to sleep because she felt she just didn't know when she's going to wake up again. And I remember sitting on her porch, and I was thinking about that for myself. This is before I'm where I am today, knowing my end is the beginning and the beginning is the end, right? And so she didn't have this knowledge. And I wish I knew what I did now to prepare her, you know, for the trap. She's probably already back. They're probably going to send her back here somewhere. She's probably going to meet my grandmother. I mean, you never know. But the whole point I'm saying is she was afraid of death. And that was a religious hole, by the way. She was sitting there thinking back all the things she did. Did she step on a cricket? Did she violate something that was going to send her to hell? Right? And that was torment at 106 years old. You know, you get what I'm saying? And my mother, and this is personal. It was, and I forget what it was, but there was it was dusk, day, and dawn. These 3 versions of this human, this guy. So they put clones in their lives, and they already had dusk, day, and dawn. So you get to learn from your older self, middle age, and then you get wisdom from your older self. And they all lived in harmony. That was a pretty good show when it comes down to it. But understand, nothing truly dies, okay? And it just changes form. And once we start understanding that, you walk in a whole different sentiment in life. You're going to walk totally different once you figure that out. And of course, you got to remember, if you start thinking the power of the serpent, it's rarely that a snake stops moving, so to speak, right? It's always in this rhythm fashion. It's got strength and movement and the sway and all of this. And this is what our ancestors learned from that knowledge, okay? And when it comes down to that. And I'll tell you before we go any further, I live by this principle in so many ways. So let me kind of show you. Yeah, so right here on the screen, y'all can see that symbol. And that symbol says the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. I adapt this. In fact, I am wearing this symbol that you see. So I live that principle, and it also allows me to deal with relationships, how to end some, start some, stuff come to an end. So this is on my neck, by the way. So I'm just showing to you. So I'm not just teaching you something. You might can see it there, but I wear it. I live by it. It's on my mala that's made by Charming Malas, by the way. And good old plug for Charming Malas. And so I live by that. Let me get back to where we're going. So I'm just not telling you something that some of these people talking about just to be so cool. I try to live the principles. And as I get better at it, my life gets better, and to deal with things emotionally, and so I can deal with things that some people would assume would be hard, difficult, getting pissed off about. And now you just got to know. But that doesn't mean that same relationship can't have a new beginning. Right? So a lot of people end shit completely. They might say, okay, I'm going to end this relationship with this person. And you never know. Y'all could make it back around. I've heard of people marrying the same woman twice, and, but you could work it out, that timing. Maybe somebody got a little more mature, or maybe somebody changed, or maybe, within a moment, somebody realizes and learn from that experience, and then you can kind of rekindle. Remember, the end is the beginning is the end. And if you can live by that, you will make it through a lot of stuff. And at the same time, so you can end that and go on to something else, though. But either way, you're going to be able to understand it. Now, the question would be, who benefits when you're taught to fear a part of a cycle that just is a turn? This is what I want you to really think about. And I'll ask them this question right now. Who benefits when people don't understand that what they're getting ready to go through is not the end? Because we get suicides because of this. We get, people walking out on good relationships. And then, of course, you need to walk out on bad ones, right? There's somehow that they need to learn that. So, but who is benefiting from that? And that's just an open question for you, TK.
I mean, I feel like the lower entities, the lower frequencies.
So you say lower entity.
That particular, like the reptilians would be to lose shit, would be like those lower entities would take that as like this magnetic charge that helps them be able to either get accepted into someone or continue more chaos.
Gotcha. What about you? That's Devin, by the way.
I think they can tell our voices apart.
Well, we got new people all the time. So y'all got to remember, there's new people all the time. Yeah.
The entities that benefit are the ones that have a lot to gain through fear and things like that, such as our government, religion, the different churches, and most people fall for that.
Right.
I'll give a personal experience. My mom, she passed away this past November, made 1 year. She was 93. I heard, it hurts to see her go, but she lived her life. She was 93.
Gotcha.
She outlived all her friends, her husband, her mom, everybody. She was the only one. She knew that she was going to die, but she was scared shitless to die. Right. And I've talked to her, a million times that, it's okay. But anyway, it's just sad, but, it's a process that we all have to go through.
Yeah.
It's tougher. Yeah. It's easier said than done, but you have to learn to accept it and live your life on this plane the way you want your eternity to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's 100% correct. Both of them are. And like I said, every time these symbols are going to mean something, life for everyone. It's going to, try to do that. It's going to, what's the word I'm trying to do? So hang on a second. Yeah. So you want to look at those things and be like, okay, you want to be able to understand that you could start over, but you also got to learn from that past process, and everything else. So I think it's one of those deals that we would do. And so let's move on to the next phase, and let me continue to go down our thing. Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's erase that. What I'm going to go into now is what I think is really important, and that's number 6, energy. We're talking about energy here. And there's this saying at some point, energy never dies, okay? The Ouroboros means that. It never dies. You can transfer it. You can move around it. Some people, if you can grasp this, you won't let somebody destroy your energy. Now, I'm not talking about the bull crap of I'm preserving my peace. That is not what I'm talking about. There are some people that has been dismantled by somebody they loved, by rejection, by a whole lot of things. You you get what I'm saying? A whole lot of things, okay? And so we're talking about energy. Someone says something to you that this is this small. And then all of a sudden, it's this big, you know? And we didn't understand that energy grew between coming out of your fucking mouth to their ears, right? And so, but also in life, you can become a better person, is all I'm saying. You can't take that. It's not the end of it all when someone breaks you down and takes that from you. So I just want you to remember that. It's also, this Ouroboros been encoded in conversation of energy, I should say, thousands of years before even a textbook people wrote this. This stuff been around. It's been around in ancient texts. The ancients and the physics, they all describing the same serpent from both ends. And it comes from the reptilian invasion. I just want y'all to know. I just want to throw it out there. So you can't, how can I say? You can't build a new self without burning the old one. Is one thing that I want to tell you. So you got to take the knowledge of this, and you're going to have to shed the old you. How about that? We can gather that together. You got to take that knowledge. You're going to have to rebirth yourself. You're going to have to shed the old you. And if nobody has learned that more than anything, it'll be myself. I wouldn't be standing here in front of you if I didn't master of that. Because when you're dealing with on a daily basis, and y'all can go check, you can go to comments, and some people say the nastiest shit to me, right? They'll say things, they'll call me names, and I'm out here. I'm that. And had I been a type of person quite some time ago, I could be affected by all of that. Y'all know what I'm saying? You know, I could be, oh man, I don't want to show my muscle that y'all looking at right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't show the muscle, or the wisdom, and all of this stuff, and it's things that you have to do. So on a personal note, I then realized that this was stress, that what you see, but it's also $1 million gut. As I get beginning to trim myself out, then I'll sell you the product that I use, right? So be ready for that, if there's such a thing. Marketability, baby, I'm marketable. That's it. But what I'm going with this is, I used to sit in a chair, and I'll tell my friends now, if they ever see me, remind me, because sometimes I'll sit and I will hold myself. That's me nurturing this fucking stress. And that energy need to be released. But I had to learn that and be aware of that. So I do carry it proudly as it's dissipating, but it's stress. And I could have thought it was the end of things, but it's also the beginning. And I just threw that in there because I like to be transparent with y'all and personal as we continue to go. But again, you cannot build your new self without burning your old self. And having said that, this is important that I need to share this with y'all. And it may be kind of a detour, but I want you to get this because it just came in my mind to do this. And this is important for a lot of people, by the way. So I want you to visualize a flight of steps. Okay? And we're just going to let you know what's the top and what's the bottom. so you don't get confused. If y'all all with me, let me know you're with me. Put a 1 that you see my diagram here. I'm doing a flight of steps. This is important. Everybody pay attention, because this is going to be your learning of learning. And this is also goes with the Ouroboros, by the way. All right, so we got some ones there. Cool. So what I want you to see is a lot of you, this is all of our lives, me, everyone. And I was this way in the beginning, and I hope you focus on where I'm getting ready to show you. There was a time that I'm sitting here as a person. I'm just going to use this stick person. I am not that small, so we'll give me a little weight for the stick. All right. So I'm the stick person. And a lot of times, this is where you are in life and you're trying to move forward. But this is metaphorically going to be family, friends. I'm just using this. Y'all can hear me, though. It could be homies, but they're not your friends. Homies and homegirls or something else. Shit. They're really disruptive, but people don't see that. So you need real friends in your life these days. Real friends will let you go. Y'all know that, don't you? Your homies and homegirls will not let your ass go. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. And most people don't see that shit. They just think y'all cool. Misery love fucking company. Don't be the first one to get ready to make it this way and see what happens. All right, so where I'm going with this is when you look at this stairwell, and this is the bottom of this. When you're trying to go up the next step, most people try to go up steps with 1 foot. So we're going to use this one leg, and it's here. And their family and friends are there. They're trying to go up, but they can't go no further. You can't go this further as much as you want to. You can dream about it. You can pray about it. You can burn candles. You can do fucking rituals. You can do whatever you can, but your ass is not going there with that step until you move this one from your fucking friends and body and everybody down there at the bottom. And some people try every day to walk a step, 1 leg up, and can't figure out why they can't, because they won't move the other leg. They can't disconnect. They can't have an ending for a new beginning. They're trying to keep it all together. And it's impossible if you want to succeed, because what you're going to have to do is move this leg, and then you may be able to, as this stick figure, and you can try it again. And some of you have disconnected from some folks. You might think you done did some shit. I done got this negative energy, but then you realize you can't get nowhere else still, because there's something else that you got to move that bottom foot. You got to walk forward. You got to get up there. Okay. I've experienced this. I already know. I'm teaching you what I know. We wouldn't be here today had I not. And I walked away from some people that I thought I loved. I'm telling you, some people that I was from the street saying, I'm loyal. I'll never leave your side, so to speak. The problem is they won't come with you. The trip get them, right? The trip get them. What do y'all think about that, TK?
That's deep. You hitting the hammer right on the nail. I'm with you 100%, because it's like one thing, like you say, you can't burn all the candles and all that you want to, because it's like you said earlier, if the ancestors aren't in alignment and you're not listening, why would they sit there and allow for a source to continue to come through with blessings that's going to hurt you even more going up the top? So some people can avoid that, especially with particular type of knowledge and knowing, like you dropped a day, brother, for sure. And just continue to move forward regardless, and just don't even worry about the barriers, as long as you know you're going to get better each and every day. Yeah,
you're going to get each and every. And let me tell you what the inspiration of what we're going to be doing every day. You know, I try to be the best version of who I am. And when I present that, and like I said, I don't have any salt or nothing. I don't do this. But there's areas that you could be rejected in being who you are. And now my goal is not only, I ain't being petty, but it's time to show. You know, it's time to show. You know, the sugar honey iced tea, baby, all of it. I just want y'all to know, okay? So You meet me, you know, you should know, all of you. But I'm going to give you a live example. And this is for the potential people out there who don't approach me with the stuff. But I'm just telling you that it's time for all of us to know who always wanted to preserve those things. You know what I'm saying? For that. But in a good way, I'm now taught to give y'all a lot more. How about that? Fair enough? And so we will go with that. So I just want y'all to know from that standpoint, so you don't think it's some other stuff. And I don't want anybody to miss what I'm saying. All right, so let's go with the other part of this. Number 7 is to this Ouroboros or Ouroboros, I'm sorry, is also destroy and create. This is important. That Ouroboros means to destroy and create. And also in the ancient times, they could talk about to eat, so to speak, your tail is to destroy, all right? And that destruction of eating that tail sustain your life too. Because eating the old you can move you forward. You get what I'm saying? And oftentimes we love ourselves so much that we don't eat the old us. We stick with that. We think it's perfect, or we think it's what it is. And we tend to stay that way out of rejection because you want to believe that you are who you are. And so you'll be like, well, I'm that. But also, you got to destroy some of those things. Because even that other person you attracted or situation or things was because of the old you in the first place. You know? And if you destroy the old you, you're going to look at things a little different. But when you think about alchemy, is where I'm going with this. You're talking about chaos that TK was talking about a while ago. So you got chaos, which would be transmuted to another word. So we're talking chaos to order is what I could use here. You got chaos to order. And let me give you a real life example. And they're gonna witness this in a few seconds. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
These two. So I had a great weekend this weekend. Went out with a friend, had a great weekend. But through a moment of chaos became order. Where do y'all witness order in me today? I'm gonna let them two go for it. Not you. You start. You just, yeah. What do you witness from my chaos of the weekend or chaotic moment? It wasn't a chaos weekend.
I mean, you on fire with this presentation and you able to multitask whatever's going on
Okay.
in the moment and then still run the business as far as giving us this knowledge,
Okay.
dropping it number from
All right.
number.
So through chaos is order.
On fire.
So I'm gonna do this. Follow my eyes. You with me?
Okay.
Through chaos is order.
Right.
No, follow my eyes. Through chaos is order.
Uh-huh.
What do you see? You don't see all that shit on the floors
That's
today.
very true.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah. So through chaos is order.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of order in here. Everything is organized today. But
Big time.
Big time, right?
I mean,
Everything's
you feel
organized.
it when you walk through the door.
You feel it when you walk through the door.
Yeah.
So that moment that I had was still good for me because it's a learning process, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, but you do want to meet people that orders your chaos because that's a balancing thing. So that's a good thing, is what I'm saying. And those are values that you want to be able to come back and say, okay, I need to look at some of my chaotic stuff. So my desk is looking good. My corner over there looks good. My seating area looks good. And I'm gonna have a camera for y'all in a soon. The area over here looks good.
What
And
people
so
should realize is what's going on in your environment or your external is what's going on the inside.
Oh my God, yeah.
So when you meet people, pay attention.
Yeah. So you can't build a new self, I should say, you can't build a new self without burning the old one. You just can't do it. You can't do it. So let me make sure I clear something for y'all. Just because I don't know who's watching, you know, I just want to make sure. So I think the person that I learned from, and they know that. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad situation. I mean, we continue to conversate. It's not a, you know, it's not a bad situation, right? So, but that's value that they may not see within themselves that I pull from. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand those things in a way. But now, for to give y'all some Illuminati shit about this, and you see it happening right in our faces. We look at what is happening in these other countries, Gaza and all these places. Okay, so let me give you a real life example, because they use the same theory, creation and destruction. And they use it in an inverted way, by the way. They use it in an inverted way, okay? So when you see this, when you see war, you're trained to see destruction and get all sympathy and send money and all of this. You're trained for that. But let me tell you what they see. Through war, they get destruction. And they do it on purpose, all right? And through destruction, and I'm spelling that wrong, what happens after destruction?
Rebuild.
Creation.
Mm-hmm.
They go back in there and buy up all the land and make money. Because one thing we don't have anymore on this earth is land. You can't make no more land. But Dubai figured out a way, and they just put some shit out in the ocean. But you get what I'm saying? They know that land is already done. Mm-hmm. It's just the value of it. So go in and destroy a whole fucking country that's on the ocean front, get everybody out of there, and then you come back in and create wealth. This has been the oldest of all times, people. This is what you see in real time. So they use the same tactics every day. The same tactics. This is where you got to see a place of chaos that you can bring peace into. And don't run away from it, because it could be a good person, a good thing, a good situation. Most of us let that chaos, because you can't see it, the peace within it, and what you bring to it, that you will disconnect yourself from something good. You just don't know, you know, and that could be, you know, or any situation. I have always said this to our team. Even though I have this organization, they're a part of it. But if any of them can see a profit center in here that I don't see, bring it so you can make some money too. Right? Because that's the whole point. You know, is all of us doing those things and understanding that. All right, so we're going to move on. I got plenty more that we can talk about. We can talk about how the serpent knows and why, without messing your head up today. And we can go into all the other animals in the world and why the serpent was the only animal that spoke his mind. If you go biblically and go back and look at it, it was considered the wise one. I encourage you to go look that up. And you probably find some in the religious texts or other places, the Nag Hammadi text that we're going to be studying, saying, be wise as a serpent. Okay, so go look at that, and then you will understand that. And I'm saying this not as a serpent worshiper. I'm not saying this because somebody said serpent, I'm out. I hope they mean out of their skin and not out of here, because if you are, please, you've been missing the point. You know, royally, I should say. But I think you might want to hang around a little bit. What we have to understand is, I'm going to use TK's word, what you have to understand, that inside of you is reptilian DNA, whether you know it or not. And the shining ones that they talk about that came here came to teach mankind some stuff. And when they left with that knowledge, they wanted to leave that knowledge so that we will grow. All right. But they left a group of watchers. If you remember the story, the watchers violated the pact and started to breed with the humans. And an abomination came, the giants, the Nephilims. Then there was a great war between aliens and the Son of Man. That's documented history. And through that great war was the greatest battle of all. Then the gods got a little pissed and said, let's flood them out, because this is how we're going to get rid of these roaches. And if you remember, the floods wasn't 10 feet of water. Everything flooded way up there, as though there had been some giants walking around here to get rid of everything. And then ultimately, the giants and stuff hung around. Now, if you want to go spiritual, whoever was talking about the, how can I put it? I'm out because I'm talking about the serpent. So let me give you a little tip here. Along the way, one of those descendants of this serpent race, he was caught, he was beaten, and he was crucified. Okay. In a few days, he was able to rise, accompanied by beings of light. He was able to shred his shrouded skin, if you get who I'm talking about. And his bloodline today rules the royal families of the entire world, the globe, okay? And hopefully you get this before you run off with this serpent shit, okay? Because I'm understanding that's where you're coming from. Then also, he was the descendant of David, who was the giant killer, because there was a great war. Should I keep going to give you who I'm talking about so that you run the other way and run the way that they don't want you to go in the first place? I'm going to stop there for you, because you may have to do some research to understand there was a great battle. And you will understand that there was original, and then there was the other ones when it comes down to this. All right. And we have a little both. But back up today is the aliens actually left. They lost and left. But they left behind their tools of power and their seed. This is what we're dealing with today. Now, the rumor of this Nibiru and the coming back is the prophecy of them coming back to deal with their own, which is the men in power today, in which some say they're already here. And this is why we see this energetic change of stuff. Don't let me go there today, because you don't tick me off. And then I'm going to have to read you, because I usually have these conversations in fucking private. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a little agitated for that. But you just go ahead and go where you're going to go. I should have just said go in the first place, right? So let me continue to keep going. So out of the serpent nose is what I'm talking about. Out of every animal that has ever chosen to encode eternity, they chose the serpent. This wasn't random. Your ancestors knew this knowledge exists. Or where did they get it from? Why is the serpent go out in the wild and your ass walking out in the jungle and you find some snake skin about this fucking big? I guarantee your inner self tell you to run. I guarantee you ain't gonna be like, oh, the snake. No, you see it shedded old skin that's bigger than your ass now. That's your sign of wisdom, knowledge, and everything. I'm just letting you know. Remember, it coiled around the tree of knowledge. Do we forget the imagery of that? Anybody remember that? Y'all remember?
Yep.
It was around the tree of knowledge. It was around the is it the caduceus or the sophilus? Whatever, it's the thing of healing. The serpent is around the rod of healing.
Caduceus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you get hit in the head right now with a brick, and there was a McDonald's sign sitting over there, Burger King, and a fucking 2 snakes, I guarantee you walk in there for help. Why? Because wisdom is in there with them snakes and wings and stuff. But that person is going to bleed to death because they saw a serpent at the hospital. That's cool. I'm just saying. And the thing you train yourself to fear is the thing that's holding the map. Is all I'm saying. Because what I realized, and Jordan Maxwell said this all the time, they got us trained looking this way while they're praying this way. Everything is inverted. They got us worshiping shit, or when we did, those who was still in the religious trap, they got you worshiping all over there. But there are spirits, and let me put it like this. It's not a pastor, but bishops, they all do spiritual work, but they teach religious work. Y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
Go look at it yourself. Every fucking high priest, all of them are doing spiritual rituals, but they teach religious document and dogma and all that for control. Which side are you on? That's all I'll tell you. And if you're on the other side, you will know that fear was installed. It just installed, and when it comes out, and knowledge was typically buried on purpose. So if y'all with me today, put it in chat. Let me know if y'all with me. I just want to know, am I just talking to myself? You know, do I have any more support out there? Anybody support me or whatever? You know, am I just talking to myself or anything? You know what I mean? I just want to know. Am I doing any good for you? Am I giving you anything today to work with? Because if you think this is good, when this is over, we're going to go into the Patreon. For those of you in the Patreon, I'm going to give you some things how to use this knowledge. And we're going on Patreon every day. Okay, so be there in a little bit. We got a few more going here that I'm going to give you a little more esoteric stuff so that you will know. But you got to think about it. Suppression is the tail, and you don't bury what's worthless. They bury what they don't want you to know. That'll help you. That'll condition you better in life and everything else. And so those are the things I want you to know as we talk. I was looking for my shea butter. I don't have it in front of me. So, but y'all already know, Make It's Own. We're going to talk about that real quick. The website, makeitsown.com. Go there, get you some shea butter from Holly. You know, get you some shea butter. I didn't put it, I cleaned up too well then because I must have put it in the drawer. It used to be just all on my desk because I use it every day. So, but all right. So let me continue with something that'll teach you something right now. It's called the traveling man. This is something unspoken. Y'all know what that means? Anyone? Y'all want to tie into that?
Masonry.
Ah, okay. He was 100% correct. See, the Freemasons at the time would call themselves traveling men. Why was that, you think? Teachers? Or?
Truthfully, I'm not a Mason, so I don't know, but I think that they their teachings, they want them to walk in the footsteps of Jesus.
Okay. Yeah. So
traveling to the east.
Basically, what they say is it will be our inner self. Okay, let me kind of put it through here. So it's our souls that is moving. You got to remember. So what he's saying, being a traveling man. So you got to think about our souls are moving through cycles of higher truth. Okay. Our souls are moving through cycles of higher truth. So all of you who are going through things right now, you are a traveling man. You are tapping into higher knowledge. Your soul is growing. And hopefully your soul will get to that light and don't walk into the wrong light when the time comes again, unless you choose to be incarnated and you go to the other side and say, send me back. You know, send me back. I want to go back and be the kid to my older self so I can guide them somewhere. You never know. You know, there's a lot of shit you can choose because a soul trap is not just soul, but there's some called a soul family. Your soul family could be always reincarnated as they go through this whole life cycle. You might want to jump back in there somewhere, be the cousin of this and teaching all these experiences. But the whole point is the cycles through higher truth. And it lives inside what they call a fraternal, hermetic type stuff. So that's the Freemasonry. And you got to see that. So when you normally see, and it's not all mean, when you see them, especially a lot of, so I'm just shading this in. When you see a lot of celebrities have black and white on, it necessarily don't mean that they're the Illuminati. It could, that's the signal of them telling you they understand duality. They're understanding how to move between those. They know the Ouroboros and all of this thing. And so I used to have a house. I had all black and white fucking tile through the whole crib. It was kick ass, by the way. And so you have to understand those things when you see it and understand that. And so you have what I would consider two sides of the world. And this is probably where most people are. So think about it this way. Many people in your life that you hang around are in, am I doing this right? Spelling this right? Esoteric? Do I got to spell it different?
No.
It's spelled wrong?
Yeah, I know it's easy.
So it needs to be a S-O and then an R.
Let's see.
Shit, let's erase that. Let me start over from scratch. Go ahead, TK. E what? S-O-T-E-R-I-C, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Okay. I appreciate it. That's when you got good friends. Shit. They read Ebonics like a motherfucker, right?
I was gonna say you got your boxes up.
My friend reads Ebonics, okay? That's when you got a good friend. They ain't got no ego, spell it like this. They go, we understand. Yeah, we got you. That's when I much love to y'all. I got good friends that read Ebonics. So what I'm saying is esoteric is for the crowd. Simply that. And 90% of people are operating in this world. They do the steps though. Remember I gave y'all the steps of half in and half out? Most people are in both. They just can't go no higher and they're trying to figure out why. You got to leave this exoteric world. And if you're not going to leave it, you're only going to go so far. But this is where the most important part is esoteric. I live in this world. And this is for, let me make sure I spell that right, the initiated, okay? This is our luminous people. Yeah, let me make sure we got our owl. I'm just drawing. I'm having fun now with this board. Hoot, hoot, hoot. That's luminous, the owl. Yeah, anyway. The esoteric is for the initiated. And this is what the Illuminati and them talk about. They talk about the initiated all the time. So just remember that. They talk about the initiated, and that's where you want to be when you get here. I got a few more. We can talk about the two paths as we want. I could get into the all-seeing eye and where it's important with this. And I would do some religious stuff, split the wood. I was going to talk about this is in the Nag Hammadi text. So let me go there because we're going to run across this. Yeah. No, we're going to leave that alone. I better leave that alone.
But just a little bit on the esoteric wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like back when the Egyptian mystery schools or the Egyptian schools were started, they would hand select in-depth initiates.
Yeah.
You had to have special abilities before they'd even invite you. Yeah. Because anyone just couldn't go. Yeah. You had to be invited.
Yeah. So
that's how they said Jesus better.
Yeah, Jesus, he went to the Egyptian mystery school.
He went to the, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Jesus did exist. A lot of people just don't. So they just gave a different story of Jesus to the religious people.
Well, the J didn't exist, so it's known as, right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm with you on that. Okay. But you can tell them without the J.
Well, I mean, even if you do it without the J and you go back to esoteric, like Devin was saying, certain people had to be chosen, and Jesus was chosen, or
Yeshua.
Yeshua was chosen to be one of those people to do that.
Yeah.
And he came back and taught certain people
Right.
the knowledge.
And to go a little bit deeper into that, I can't think of the name of the book or the movie. I think it was called Zygote, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But they went back literally 30,000 years, 40,000 years. And there was literally 10 to 15 people or prophets that did the exact same thing Jesus did.
Oh yeah, that's
Heal
27 stories in every religion is the same Jesus story.
Exactly. And if you read the Emerald Tablets,
yeah,
literally everything Thoth said, you can go to the new canonized Bible, and literally everything Jesus said was exactly what Thoth said 36,000 years prior to Jesus.
Yeah, it'll go there. So y'all see this little camera sitting up here. Once we reach our funding level, I got a little piece I need to buy it. And then when I hit this button, it's all hooked up over here. You will see them talking and anybody else come. So a lot of y'all are welcome to come up here when we start doing this. We're going to build our live audience.
And one more thing, Doctor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whenever Roderick allows me to, I'm going to let everyone knows about someone that had abilities comparable to Jesus Christ that walked the earth during our lifetime.
I tell you what.
During our lifetime. Next time, not today.
No, it ain't we today. It'll be in a moment. So when we go into the Patreon in a little bit, I just want y'all to know, we're going to go in there. So let me put it up on screen for y'all. And once again, this here, I'm wearing this. The end is the beginning. This is my true walk into this. So I just want y'all to know it's right here on my mala. And the mala comes from Charming Malas. And I'll put the links and those things in the description for y'all, the telephone numbers, and make it shown as well. So and it will be in the video description after this. Okay, so I'll put it in there tonight for those who's watching this later. You can do that. But anyway, we're going to get ready to go into the 33 parallel. That's the hidden knowledge of our Patreon. That's the web address right there, which is Patreon Truth versus Authority. We're going to be doing this every day now. So after every 5 o'clock we're going to go into the Patreon so I can give you value. I'll teach you a little bit how to use this. I already got my notes that we're going to be teaching a little bit in the Patreon. We'll talk about the center, what you're going to do in the mornings. I'm going to give you some tips on transmutation for during your day, how to withdraw from all these things using the Ouroboros. And then what I call the weekly shed that I learned that you're going to be able to start shedding off old stuff constantly. And for those of you, if you don't have your membership, don't worry about it. If you missed this today, it'll stay in there. We're just going to build a whole archive. So whenever you do join us in the 33 parallel, you'll be able to go back and get these knowledge. Just write down the day that you heard the other side. And then scroll back in there and say, okay, I want to go back to that I didn't get in there 2 weeks ago or a month ago or 2 months ago or whatever. So this is for the people who that has that Patreon membership. It's my thanks to you that I was inspired to make sure that we deliver, and we're going to do this every day. But except Tuesday, because I do Forbidden Knowledge at 8 o'clock teaching what I'm going to teach tomorrow, then I will go in there at 9 for you all. And we just meet there at 9 o'clock. And that way, you still get that every day. And if you miss it, just go back there the next day or whenever. So hopefully to see y'all there, and give me about 10 minutes. I'll fire up the Patreon and bring your notepad and pencils or your phones, take some notes, note takers or money makers or whatever you want to call it, life makers or whatever. And I will go in there. And I do appreciate everyone else who's been supporting us in that. And then just remember, there will be a calendar link in there for the Patreon people. If you want to do a consultant call, which on the outside, I charge for that. But for Patreon members, once a month, you can just, if you want to talk to me about anything, 30 minutes, no charge, no whatever, just comes with that. You'll be able to do that. We're going to also do some shadow work in there. And then any of our future webinars and stuff will go into the Patreon. And some people can buy it on the outside, but the Patreon people, just go in there. You'll get the links and everything else. And I'm thinking this is where we need to build that value so that it's just a little extra work, an hour for me each day, but you're worth it. And I'm on a mission to do my part as the symbolizer. I'll tell you about that later. So with that being said, I love each and every one of you. Love to you. Hopefully you heard I love you over the weekend. If you didn't, I love you. And not the puppy parrot, love, whatever, because I truly do. I do. And hopefully you feel the energy when I tell you that you are loved. And but we all do seek the special love from someone you admire too. So that means a little more to you. When you hear those things too. So I just want you to know you're loved and everyone else. And like I said, greatness to you all. And I will see y'all in a few moments. And then, like I said, if you come in there next week, just catch up, go back and take these learning because I'm about to take you on a journey. And one last promise. I'm going to look in that camera. And this is my promise to you. Nothing will be as it was ever again around here, around me, and around where you're going to go on this journey. I'm making that promise to you. I'm about to show you something you've never seen before, and that will be me. All right, so let's roll. Let's do what we're doing, and we're out like a speed of light.
UFOs.
UAPs.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Man, let's try.